So your next fight is at the IFC 17. Originally, you were slated to fight Jake Shields.
Yeah.
I mean, it was two, submission guys ready to go at it, and Jake Shields breaks his leg. Do you remember who they replaced him with?
Yeah, Nick Diaz.
Yeah, that's right. Nick Diaz.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember
makes
they
his
like
pro debut against,
I think
an almost
like
20 fight veteran, Chris Lytle.
I think it's like 1-2-0, but they're like, we got this guy. He won Grappler's Quest, and he's won these other grappling things. I remember thinking, whatever, dude. I've had a bunch of fights. I'm not getting beat by some 19, 20-year-old kid from Grappler Quest or whatever. I don't even know what that is. So, all right. So I remember going in there, and I remember I've talked about this is the worst hotel I've ever stayed at. That Paul Bunyan Motel or Lodge, whatever. It was like, I remember it was like if you like Alex was there with me, like in his room, like some of the TV channels would work, and in mine it was different. Like you never had one TV that would work quite right. And you'd try to open the drawers, and like the drawer would fall off. It was such a shitty place, and it was so hot out there, man. I remember it was in the middle of the desert. Like it was an Indian reservation, but it was like it was like a road back among mountains and rocks. There's nothing there. I remember, it had to be 100 degrees that day. Now, luckily, by the time I fought, it was nighttime. It wasn't 100 degrees, but it was still hot. And I remember, starting off at the beginning, I was like, okay, I feel good. And I went out there. I felt like I did good the first round. I remember I was like, this kid's pretty tough, though, man. I mean, he had an awkward style.
Chris, there was a lot of clinching. And like in your other fights in the past, you wouldn't mind taking the bottom position in order to, like you said, not wasting energy. You refused to do that in this bout. What was the reason behind that?
I think that was just my evolution and kind of learning a little bit. Like some of the fights I'd lost was because I was on bottom. I lost that Earwood fight. I lost the Monet fight. And I'm like, you know what? Learning a little bit more and getting as far as like the top position is more dominant. I don't want to be on bottom if possible, and that was just, once again, at some point, if you have to be on there because you're going against a bigger guy, like when I was in Japan, there was no weight class. It was a difference. But here it's like, okay, I'm in my weight class. I want to be on top. I want to try and, do what you have to do, I can submit people from the bottom, but I can also do more damage from the top. So I want to be on top if possible.
So second round, you definitely win the first round. It was a hard first round.
Yeah.
Why don't you walk us through the second?
Second round, this dude, I remember he doesn't seem to get tired at all. And I didn't really realize his cardio was so on point there, but he keeps coming. I remember at one point, I'm sweating pretty good. I remember one point I am on bottom, and I go for a heel hook. I flip my leg to it, and I have a really good heel hook locked up on. I thought I got it, but it kept sliding off because we were sweating. I was like, damn it, I think I got this. But I couldn't finish the heel hook. So he gets on top and spins around. And these were still legal to the head there because I remember I set him up, I positioned myself, and I kneed him in the face from bottom and cut him open. Yeah. I remember he's bleeding all over the place. I was like, okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I was hoping they stopped the fight because I was like, he's bleeding. He's bleeding good. We got to stop this fight. So, but he did a good job of holding position. And I think he had me in an armbar at one point, but I slid out of it. He showed some good submission skills, but, I showed the ability to get out of his stuff.
So do you recall any of the chatter during the fight between either yourself and Nick or Nate Diaz from his corner?
No, I don't. Do you remember what was being said?
Man. Yeah, after you cut him open, he said that it was just a little scratch. That cut wasn't shit. Hey, the cut's fine, it ain't shit. That was Nate Diaz, yelling at Nick. And, Nate had the frosted tips going and his hair and was talking the whole time, man. Like, Nate didn't stop.
I remember, so after that, and I remember, like I said, it's hot. And I remember my buddy Alex, he put this cold towel on me after the second round. He's like, I got this. You want me to put it after the first second? I was like, he put it on. I was like, man, I'm hurting, man. He was like, all right, man, you're looking good. Just go out there. You're looking really good on your feet. So keep it up. I was like, all right. So the third round starts, and probably about the first a minute, I'm looking good on my feet. And then I get in, I get a takedown. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to hold him down for a while. And my corner, Alex, starts yelling, Stand him up, ref. Right. Stand him up. Stand him up. And I'm just like, stop, no, and so about a minute and a half left in the fight, they stood us up. And I'm done. I have nothing left. And Nick hits me with a 1-2 bout, cut my eye open. And so I'm like, I can't see. I pull guard. And he ends around on top, throwing punches. So I remember I went to Alex, like, dude, what did you tell him to stand me up for, man? He was like, I thought you were winning on your feet. I was like, thanks. So goes to split decision. I lose the split decision. But it's a close fight, man. I mean, you could have said you could have said I won. You could have said I don't know. It was a tough fight.
He earned it. There was a hard fight. Yeah. He definitely, whether he won or lost, man, he had, but on his record, that's his first pro fight. That's his pro debut, whether that's true or not. Yeah,
I thought he was already had a couple of fights, but I remember after that was when that was, I told you guys before this, that was a fight where I was like, I remember sitting with Alex after that in my hotel room, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm done here, man. Because like I said, this wasn't a career; this was for fun. And at that point, that was the worst time at that point. Well, this was not fun. I was like, I'm getting beat by 20-year-old kids who haven't had much experience. Like I fought in UFC, I fought in Japan a lot. I was like, this is very disheartening, man. It hurts my heart to go out there and lose to somebody who's a nobody, is what I said. This dude's nobody. I can't be getting beat by nobodies. I'm not going to do this anymore. This is not fun anymore. And I remember him talking to me about it and just like, man, I get it. And he was like, you know what? This is what he's in pride doing. Where he's like, you know what, Chris? I'm going to be here one day. I know it. I'm going to be right where you are. And I was like, well, I'm here now, so I don't really care. And then I felt good because about a year later, Nick's in the UFC doing well. So I felt better after that. I didn't know he was going to be Nick Diaz, obviously. But, you think he just got beat by somebody who's a nobody, it hurt me bad, man. And that sucked.
So what were weigh-ins like?
There wasn't any talk, man. There was no
really?
talk going. No, not that I remember, man. He wasn't talking trash at all.
I'm disappointed in that.
Yeah, but he was pretty new at that, and so I remember I talked to him a little bit afterwards, and he was all right. And I remember I talked to Nate. Nate was just a young kid. There's probably 15, and he hung out with us for a long time and talked to us. But I wasn't much in the mood. But he hung out in our room for a little bit and just talking about how good of a fight it was and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, man, whatever, thanks. And I wasn't really in the mood, but I was cool to him. And then he's liked me ever since. So he is.
Yeah, those guys, they really only seem to get nuts when they feel like they've been disrespected. I mean, because they've only had a handful of those.
True.
When they do have those those interactions, they're legendary and you remember them forever. Yeah. But it's really only a few people really brought that out of them.
There are no punks, man. Like if you do anything they consider disrespectful, it's on. You know what I mean? Wow. They're not going to take that stuff.
Chris, that's like a finish line that tends to move. Like for instance, we just had Joe Riggs.
Joe Riggs.
And Joe Riggs, Joe's like trying to be, he's a hothead too. Just in passing, Joe says, hey man, good luck or whatever. And Nick goes, are you going to make weight this time? Because he missed by 0.5 pounds for championship weight for a title fight. Yeah. So he came in at 170 and a half, which is making weight under normal circumstances.
Yeah.
And after that, like the relationship just exploded, and Joe went on to document 5 other additional times of where they fist fought on site just because of that one interaction. And it's just like the disrespect could just be like, well, he winked at me wrong. You know what I mean? Like when you're just, hey, what's up, dude?
I like Nick was like, gave him a dirty look, I guess. He came over to my side of the hospital. He knows I'm crazy. He knows I'll come after him. That's on him. I was like, that's interesting logic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It seems like you really can't understand where, well, our families have fought for 300 years. It's like it doesn't really compute. And then you talk to the Diaz's and you're like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I can see how situations like that can arise.
But like I said, if they think you're a legit fighter and you come out and you're a grinder, you're hard nosed, they like you, man. I mean, if you're one of them, They think you're one of them. You're one of them. It is what it is. But if you're not one of them, they don't like you.
Yeah.